Is it over? Like WTF? Is this a stock market crash? We have to look a little bit closer to really understand what's happening here. Microsoft is tanking. It's down nearly 7%. And if we look under the hood, what's the reason for this? Well, it's actually pretty bad because Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Amazon all look terrible on the monthly time frame, which closes out tomorrow. So it's not just a story of a couple of stocks, it's quite a few. But pay attention to Google and Apple today. For some reasons, they did not sell off. What's the reason? Well, Apple used Google's chips to train their AI models. And this was a really big hit to companies like Nvidia. You can clearly see the stock was suffering today. So I think we understand part of the story, but now we have to go a little bit deeper because we just got AMD and Microsoft reporting earnings. And these ones also move the market. So now let's look here to after hours. Okay, Nvidia is now up. Apple down a little bit, Google down a little bit, Microsoft down 6%, Meta down 3, Amazon down 3.6. So what happened here? Well, if we go back to what we just talked about, Apple and Google are shielded at least a little bit for right now because they're stealing some thunder from Nvidia. And Nvidia was down in after hours, but now it's actually snapped back. So if you don't look very impressed, well, Jerome doesn't either. He does not like what he sees under the hood. So what happened here? Microsoft shares drop as cloud miss overshadows better than expected revenue and earnings. They beat and on top and bottom line. Their cloud numbers missed, which means they're not really getting an ROI for their AI spend. Microsoft shares report slower Azure cloud growth. Sorry, I'm coughing a little bit there, just like the stocks are right now. But what happened? Man, they barely even missed. It was 38.6 as the estimate, 36.84 as the actual. Oh, so they missed by 0.4. Yep. And the stock is down. That's I don't know. That's quick little math. Let me actually figure this out. How much of the stock actually delete in after hours here? So 3.14 trillion times 0.06%, $180 billion, $188 billion to be precise. Whoa, right? Woof. Yeah, that hurts. So if you're wanting to understand the reason why this happened, great. And Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow and we close out the month. So if there's time at the end of the show, we'll come back and look at these. But specifically, Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Amazon all have terrible charts. Let's look a little bit closer and see what that means. If we pop over here to a monthly chart, as of right now, we have a monthly higher high and a monthly lower low, and we're currently below the low. Microsoft is now going to be right on its uptrend, which means this should be support. Gap downs are usually for buying. What does that mean? Hey, I'm watching to what's going to happen at the open tomorrow. Because if we manage to gap down, pump up, great. If we manage to gap down and go sideways, that's not good because as we open up August, technically we're going to lose our uptrend. We're not going to be going up anymore. And that's bad because other stocks that reported very small misses on earnings also getting punished, getting drilled. Look at Google here. It's down by 6.5 on the month, higher high, lower low, currently below that candle low. That's a bearish engulfing monthly candle. I'm not going to pretend like it's bullish. So yes, there's definitely been some selling. And what I think is really important is that we understand the reason why. There's a lot of people who think the AI bubble is going to pop, and they're looking pretty close. Also important to note that DXY has a monthly bullish engulfing candle. Hey, I don't mess around when that thing starts to do that. But as of right now, it looks like 2 of the Magnificent 7 are doing okay. So I think it really comes down to Meta, ARM, Qualcomm tomorrow for those chips. I'll get to that in a moment. And then Amazon and Apple tomorrow because, frankly, those are huge stocks. And right now, Amazon's getting hit because if Microsoft's not getting a return from Azure, which is their cloud service, which basically means they're spending an F ton of money on AI, is that converting into dollars, which means a return on investment? Because if it's not, the stocks are going to sell off. And we can see that here with a sympathy sell with Meta and with Amazon and after hours. Why? They're the ones spending the money. So the ones spending the money are getting punished, right? Google already got punished. So that's it. So if you understand the reason why you might be a bit disappointed today, it doesn't make the sting any less sore. It just means we can adapt from now because we're going to close out monthly candles tomorrow. All right, so we got through all that. We missed by 0.04%, and the market's right back into fear. But here's the reason why you might want to be a little bit receptive to news for the rest of the week. If we look here to this article, it says Bernstein's Ragson on AMD earnings. AI story is all that matters to investors. So what happened to AMD? Man, up by 9% in after hours, right? Flexing. Look at those bulls. And it also managed to drag up Nvidia to green in after hours. Initially, it was down by, let's have a look here. I think it was down like 3%. I did this before I hit record. It was an 8% swing from low to high. I'm like, whoa, 8% on a 2 point whatever trillion company. This company is worth 2.5 trillion now. From low to high, let's just hide these. We go from low to high. That's a rally of 8%, 7.98%. That is $100 billion plus swing from low to high. So if you're starting to get some indigestion or, again, a roller coaster, you're not alone. But maybe this is a great time to consider smashing that thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, because we're going to go through all of this tomorrow morning and in tomorrow's video. All right, moving forward. So got through that part. We talked about earnings. I think Meta is going to really be important tomorrow. I'll finish off the story now, and then we'll try to get to some charts. So I understand what's happening in after hours here. At least I think I do. Why? ANET's up, AMD up, Micron's also up in after hours. So let's look at that now. Small miss, but hey, at least for the hardware companies like AMD, this is good because these companies are continuing to spend. I think they're spending 40 to 50 billion per year. A quick little caveat here too is that a lot of companies like Google, like Amazon, they don't really want to give investors a dividend, and they don't want to really do buybacks. It's because they can't find a better use of their capital or dollars, and they literally gush cash. They are cash cows. That's why they're magnificent. And what they're doing now is spending, I think it's like 40 to 50 billion dollars each on buying AI chips instead of doing share buybacks or issuing a dividend. So I think the companies are doing the right thing, because if they can get a return on this beyond a small dividend or a share buyback, the companies are going to do well. Investors will get paid over time. But it's a sell first, ask questions later market. You miss on any number, you're punished. So if we look at tomorrow, we got Meta, which is supposed to be the biggest beat out of the group, and it's already gotten dragged down like it's already going to miss. Better chance it can actually beat to the upside. And because we close out monthly candles, this will be important. Let's go here to Facebook on a 1 month chart. Where are we here? I'd like to go to Meta. Oh, there we go. Forgot that it changed the ticker. Why? Bearish engulfing candle. Oh my God. Yep. It would have to rally by 6% to save that monthly candle. Otherwise, that's a bearish engulfing monthly candle. It's no bueno. And we're going to get earnings after the bell tomorrow, which means if anything, it might look like Starbucks did into a monthly candle and get a massive gap either down or up. All right, this is getting a little bit confusing. If an AMD was able to advance by 9% in after hours and then drag Nvidia from low to high over 8%, watch out for these other chip companies, because that's what everyone's going to be doing now. They're watching AI. All right. And then we also have Jerome tomorrow at 2 p.m. So before earnings, Jerome at 2, inflation from Europe. We got ADP non-farm payroll. Yeah, buckle up. It's a tough market right now. Important to note, we also have data on Friday. That's really important here. All right, 0.3 is the same number as before. Non-farm payroll at 177, but the Fed could cut tomorrow. I think that would be a pretty big surprise. But I think for chips for tomorrow, let's look at SMH. Why? This is the semiconductor ETF. It's up by 1.3 in after hours. So if AMD was able to do that, watch for ARM, Qualcomm, Lam, because these are important companies when it comes to chips. I think it could be very important tomorrow into the last calendar day of the month. And then finally, if we look here to Jerome Powell, he's going to be talking tomorrow at 2. What's going to happen? Subscribe and you'll find out. All right, very last thing here. If we now look at SPY, what's really curious to me is that we've defended the weekly higher low here by about like $1. Last week's low, 537.45. This week's low, 535.52. However, the NASDAQ's not saving it. We got lower low, lower low, lower low, close below the low, close below the low, currently below the low. This candle closes on Friday, but this one closes tomorrow. And I already told you the chart doesn't look great. Let's go to this one here. No, not that one. All right, I don't have it up. It's that list of all the monthly bearish engulfing candles. Well, let's look here a little bit closer. Why? If we decline by the same amount we did today, roughly 1.5%, where does that get us? And by the way, we're already down by 0.5 in after hours. Well, from 4 let's actually get closer here, because you're going to see like we could get a bearish engulfing candle on QQQ as well. We need roughly, so right now it's like 2%. So if we repeat tomorrow and we're already down by 0.5, 0.6, yeah, we could have that same candle play out here on QQQ. And at the same time, the dollar is, not the dollar, VIX or volatility. Investors are buying insurance. That's what this means. Investors are getting a little bit fearful, a little bit scared. So should you be? Well, this is the time when you want to be managing the risk. If we're just starting to get into fear and you've not yet made a plan, I would highly encourage you to do it now. It's never too late to make a plan. With that said, thank you very much for tuning in. You can either tune in with me at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow, and if not, thank you very much for tuning in.